Hello everybody and welcome to the OVKA 2025 season. We're going to watch me struggle with getting ready for the Legends 206 final. We were the first class out after the break, and we're all just standing around chatting. We're mostly ready to go, but then all of a sudden, I guess we were really ready to go. And as you can see, I do not have one of my gloves on, so maybe this isn't recommended, I don't know, but I'm out here on the track trying to get my glove on and not crash my go-kart. I even try to use my mouth to, bite the edge of the glove, but you have a helmet on. That doesn't work at all. So I do get it on. I get them secured. I even get the obligatory fist bump in right at the very end, and we are off. So I did up my game from last year when it comes to video and editing and things like that. I got my Insta360 X4, and I also picked up a Mac Mini so I can process the stuff a lot easier. So I'm working through the new software and making sure all my old hardware hooks up with the Mac Mini correctly and all that good stuff. So anyways, I finished second in the pre-final, and we're coming down for the green flag. I went ahead and, all the action is going to be behind me on this first turn, so I pan my 360 cam back towards the group, and we make it around the first turn without really any incidents. I think there's a little bumping you can see going on back there, but nothing too severe. But I think a few carts do go off at the end of turn 3 right there, and we'll pick them up on the left coming up here. They're sitting in the grass over there, and I think one of the drivers was able to pop through and come out on the track, and they're giving up positions to fall back in line further back in the crowd. But similar to the pre-final, I did get a pretty good start. Besides trying to up my video editing and videoing game, I did also drop a little money on getting my motors refreshed. I sent them on over to NewGen / Ghost Racing, I believe is the full name. Over there in the Whiteland, they've got their little shop set over there at Whiteland over close to Indianapolis, and I took my motors over there and had them put their special touch on it, and the motor came out pretty strong. I was able to hang with the number 16. I think I only finished 0.2 seconds behind him in the pre-final, and I actually had fastest lap of the race in that race. So I was very happy going into this final with how the motor was performing. I've raced with the 16 quite a few times now, and he generally just goes by me if he was behind me to start with, or just pulls away. So it does look like the motors are helping a little bit, and maybe I'm getting a little better as well. I don't know. To me, I felt like I was driving my normal line like I normally do, so I put a lot of this on thinking that the motor gave me a little extra pep in my step where I could focus on my line and not have to worry about, is my motor going to fail me or not. I was able to hang relatively well with the leader. And at this point in time, we have a fairly substantial gap on third place. But I am enjoying this camera. It's pretty easy to edit the software as far as making it track. It's the smart technology. I can just go up there and draw a little circle around the number 16 in first place, and hit start tracking, and it will track him until I want it to stop. So for instance, when the camera swings backwards while I've been editing, I just stop the tracking, and then using the mouse or the cursor, I will just spin the camera around behind me and pick somebody new to follow, and it will just make a nice transition from one person to the next and keep it all smooth, as you saw in the first video. But the 16's kind of stretched it out on me a little bit. At this point, I'm probably about a second behind him. I was able to go back and look at the stats and the scoring. The OVKA this season did start to use alpha timing, and it has some added features in it that previously, using Race Monitor, they didn't have quite the in-depth data analysis that you can basically look at live while you're at the racetrack. So I was able to, like I said, I was able to check and see what my gaps were as the race was progressing without, it was just right there, pretty easy to access data. Now we're starting to come up on a couple of the fellas that ended up in the grass on that first lap. They were able to get going, but it put them, pretty far behind in the lap. Now, the good thing is they don't really impede either the leader or myself. They're aware that we're coming. I do believe they got the blue and white stripe, or whatever stripe that is, in the flag to let them know that faster traffic's coming through. And as you can see, I put the tracker on the cart I just passed, so he's getting a little air time. And I think we'll pass one more person up pretty soon. The number 4 is up there as well. I think that was the 32 that we just went past. And I've raced with that fella over at MCC a few times. Nice guy. Not sure how long he's been racing. He's probably about maybe 3-4 years into it now. But he hasn't been to the OVKA or G&J Cartway too many times that I'm aware of, because I ran last season and he wasn't out at the races. But the 16, he is doing well. He's holding me off. I will also say that the OVKA stuck with the Hoosier tires in the off season, and I'm running tires that I ran last year. I didn't put anything new on. In all honesty, I just wanted to get a good baseline performance out of this go-kart, just to see how my motor went. So when it came to chassis setup, I didn't change anything from running the 2024, I think Grand's 8, I think it was. I didn't really get banged into anybody up there. All I really did was double check my front end alignment and just left the cart completely set up the way that it was when I went to Grand's, because I'd gone completely through it in the first place. Perform maintenance on the bearings. Everything was good to go, and nothing bad happened to me at the Grand. So it was, for the most part, really just had about two race days on it. So all I did was throw the motor on and realign the front end, and that was it. And I did not make any changes at all race day, except for tire pressures. The day did start out a little drizzly. Grip was down a little bit, but just pumped the tires up a little bit, and I really didn't have what I would consider to be any significant issues with grip. But other than that, no changes. I didn't change any widths on the front end or the rear. I didn't even change a gear, although I probably should have changed a gear. But I missed the first practice. I did the second practice, qualifying in a pre-final, and prior to this race day, I had not driven my go-kart since the Grands, and I think that was in October of 2024. So got a good 4 or 5 months. But we're coming around to the checkers. The 16 is obviously going to hold me off. I think I finished about 1.5, 1.6 seconds behind him, which typically all last season I was finishing about 6. Depending if it was one of the longer configurations like this, I was finishing more in the 6 to 7 seconds behind him type thing. So that wraps this video. Hope you like the new improvements in technology, and I will keep trying to tweak this as I go along. So thanks for watching. See you at the next race.